Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to try this. I don't want to be the first one.
Well, I feel like we all have to take a
We
sip
all do it
together.
at the same time?
Yeah.
I'm excited for this. This is gonna be.
Cheers, Buckies.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh man,
Ooh.
that is bad.
Ooh.
So we just tried. We tried drinking beer.
Is there like a lemon taste to it?
There is a sour aftertaste.
I've never had a beer that I haven't liked.
Oh.
This is a new experience for me.
It tastes like if you were just drinking old water that also had like an old lemon in it.
I feel like it's like water mixed with like lemon Windex.
Yeah.
It kind of has like a bit of a punch to it, like a rubbing alcohol almost, and just like not great.
It's almost like a Canadian gone bad, like something was mixed in the keg kind of thing.
I appreciate you taking a second sip.
It's not great.
I'm on my fourth sip.
It doesn't even
I'm drinking
smell.
it.
Oh man, that actually smells awful.
Speaking
I
of
haven't smelled it yet.
speaking of Canadian gone bad, Julian was telling a story quite a few episodes ago about how there was just some rank beer that he had, and he couldn't figure out what it was. We determined it was Heineken because he tasted a real Heineken, and he's just like, oh. Yeah, it tasted like this, but like 10 times worse.
It kind of smells like apple juice mixed with like like when you're dehydrated and you take a pee, and it's like really yellow and smells kind of foul. It kind of smells like that mixed with apple juice.
It's been sitting out in the sun all day.
That is just horrible. Beer.
I'm sorry, beer.
For those wondering, has almost no like identifiers on the can. It's just a white can. Oh, that is just
When I first saw these, I actually saw these at the store shortly before we went when we first picked them up, and I thought it actually just said beer on the side. I thought there was just generic white cans, just like beer, no branding, nothing.
Yeah.
There is a branding, and it's not. I wouldn't suggest branding themselves.
No.
I would not want to be known for this.
It's we're calling you out, beer. Your beer is just god awful.
Another thing I'm noticing about this can, which I've noticed on a bunch of other cans, I don't know if it's like a legal thing or not, but there's no symbols or anything about drinking and driving on this thing. A lot of times it'll be like a X out with like a car on it, or it'll be like, please drink responsibly, or don't drink and drive, or something on it.
Yeah.
But beer doesn't have that. At least I've seen that on like Canadians and Keats and other things like that.
I'm holding an old Milwaukee, and it looks like it's a specially branded one for like some sort of anniversary. But
no, that's actually the new cans.
oh, these are the new cans.
They've gotten
okay.
rid of the pinup girls.
The pinup girl is still on it, just much smaller.
Yeah, but it's like there's two pinup girls.
There's
on these,
there's two.
know?
There's two different.
And it used to be every case was a different pinup girl.
Whoa, who's got time for that?
I appreciated it. It's something different.
I do not appreciate this though. This was
Not
a bad
this beer,
idea.
no. I think
You need to save and give it to like Julian or Rudy next time. You
Oh,
hang out
yeah.
with them.
Oh yeah. Well, we can always get more. We got them at that liquor depot.
I don't know
so
if we want to buy more.
how much were these?
they were really cheap.
Yeah, I think it was something like
They were under $1 each, I think, or something like
Really?
that. Like, it was bad.
something like that. Yeah, it was like $5.50, $6.50, something like that.
Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the HastleCast. Tonight, hosted by myself, Ben. We have
Professor Adventure,
And Steven.
also known as Nick, but you know.
got to get your branding out.
Steven
get
is
my branding
Steven is not known as Nick. Professor Adventure is known as Nick.
Thank you for clarifying.
Ben is also not known as Nick.
I
Or Professor
was
Adventure.
known as Nick when we were growing up
That's right.
because people couldn't get my name straight, so they'd always call me Nick.
Really?
Well, yeah, because they couldn't, because Nick and I always looked similar, and we're brothers. People would get us confused, and apparently I would always tell people, I'm not Nick, just like it became a catchphrase.
I was supposed to be Ben. Our parents were going to name me Ben, but they decided, nah, let's have one more kid, and then I got the name Nick, and then you got your name.
Yeah, like, I think our parents were trying to have a third kid and ended up having a miscarriage. And then they tried again and they had me. And my dad conceded naming to my mom, who wanted to originally name Nick, who was the second born, Ben. And my dad's like, no, we're not calling him Ben. And then third one comes around, and my dad's like, all right, you know what? You can call the kid whatever you want. It's fine. So that's why I'm named Ben.
My parents were going to name me Jasmine, but then I was a guy.
Oh, yeah?
It didn't work out.
That was your female equivalent?
Yep.
I think I would have been like Nicole if I was a girl, but I'm not.
I was supposed to be named Sarah if I was a girl,
Oh, really?
but that never happened. So it doesn't matter.
Because it is what it is.
What about your sisters? Did they have like male equivalents?
I think they did, but I don't know what they were.
Okay.
I only ever remembered mine. I remember my dad wanted to name me Carlos.
Oh, that's a cool name.
Yeah. My mom. So it was my mom got to name girls, and my dad got to name boys that were had. And when I was born, my dad's like Carlos. My mom's like vetoed. Like, nope, not happening.
Yeah.
He's like, fine, Steven. She's like, okay, I'll accept that one.
Steven's much better because there's a nice alliteration to your name.
Yeah, that's true. I still think it'd be sick to be named Carlos, though.
Carlos Strom.
Yeah. Good name.
It doesn't work as well.
Maybe.
Steven Strom is like STST.
Yeah, you're going for that alliteration too, right? When you do two S's.
Yeah. 2 STs.
Don't wrong. I'm very happy with my name.
I'm glad
But-
you are. Some people are not happy with their name.
Some people are not. Yeah, no, I'm pretty satisfied.
I just like how nobody messes my name up. Because it's just like Ben.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's it.
They mess up the spelling on my name a lot. They'll either
Really?
put one C or one K, but it's with both, C and a K. Or if you
And that happens a lot, or does that just
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
it
'cause I'm
happens
surprised,
so
'cause
much.
I see it with both more often than with just one.
You figure, like I've seen that too, but like every time for me, for some reason, like whenever I'm like going to get like a Starbucks and they ask for the name and I say Nick, they'll just go NIC, and I look at it, I'm like, okay. I guess
Oh, is it
it's
just
okay.
because it's Starbucks and they're just trying to keep it short?
I think that
Like,
would be the
I
case.
say for my name they'll
Well, it's
just
only 4 letters?
for my name they'll do STEV.
Stev
Yeah,
Strom.
because like it gets the point across to them.
Yeah.
I don't know. So Ben, we did something fun on the weekend.
We did.
We watched a lot of devastating movies.
We did. Well, they were okay.
Well, I mean, like for the most part, they were pretty sad.
Yeah.
What
Like,
movies
none of them were
these?
happy movies.
So we watched 3.5 movies. Well, 3.25 movies more like. The first movie we watched was Battle Royale.
Okay.
If you don't know what it is, it's essentially a much better version of the Hunger Games. It's a Japanese movie. There's like 40 contestants or something.
Yeah, 42, I believe.
42 contestants, which are all students, and it's been like Japanese law that these students must fight to the death.
Oh, very Hunger
Essentially,
Games.
Yeah, it's supposed to be that young people are starting to rebel against adults more and more. And so as a way of trying to mitigate that, they feel like putting them in this like death arena will start showing them like how little power they have and how they should respect their elders. And yeah, that was pretty interesting. So it was always a 9th grade class every year. They would pick one 9th grade class at random across all of Japan and then just pretty much kidnap them over a night and then put them in this battle arena, which was pretty much just an island.
Crazy.
Yeah.
How long is it? Is it like hour and a half, 2 hours?
Probably like a 2-hour movie.
Honestly, I think it's slightly over 2 hours, but by the time you remove the credits and stuff, probably
Yeah.
right around 2 hours.
It's really good. It's pretty old too. Like it came out before Hunger Games.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did Hunger Games come out? Was that
2011.
2011?
Well, probably the question is when did the books come out? It's probably a bit more accurate.
Well,
right?
now, did it come out before the books, or did it just come out before the movie?
The books were first.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see.
You know, for some reason, I just keep picking up the beer and drinking it. I think
Something
that's the
2008
closest
Hunger
thing.
Games. This movie, I believe Battle Royale 1 was 2001.
Oh, okay. Jeez, that's like
7
Battle
years.
a
Royale
long time ago.
was a novel itself originally.
Oh, actually, I do think I knew that.
Originally completed in 1996, but not published until 1999.
Okay, and then I still think the movie was 2001. But,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, regardless, yeah, the book was then far before the movie. Or the Battle Royale book was far before the Hunger Games book then.
Yes.
So, is this on Netflix, or did you have
It
to
was on
find
Netflix at one point. I don't know if it still is. I bought it a while ago after seeing it on Netflix because I bought it as a collection that include
Oh.
Battle Royale 1 and 2.
Oh, so there's a second one.
There is, and
Which is like the primary reason why we got together this night. We're like, well, if we're gonna watch the second one, we have to watch the first one.
yeah, it was more that. So I first heard this movie through my brother-in-law, who loves the first movie, and then he always told me, he's like, "Yeah, go watch the first one, and then ignore the second one. It's awful." I'm like, "Okay, how bad could it be?" So we watched the first movie. We're like, "Yeah, that was incredible. Time to watch the second one." The second one is terrible. Like, it's so bad. I don't know where they went wrong.
I'll admit, there's moments in it that I really enjoyed, but there's too much comic relief. Like the first one is such a serious thing, and there's all these characters have these like really traumatic childhood events and like actual backstories and stuff. And then this new one pops up and it's just like freaking, well, I don't want to say too much about the movie, but yeah, there's too much relief from the suspense, I think.
It's weird. I don't think there was many comedic points. I don't know. Because, like, to me, the only parts that were, like, interesting, I thought was, like, pretty much the very beginning of the movie. And I'll just say the piano scene, and that should be pretty much enough to click you in. Other than that, I thought the rest of the movie, like, sucked. But
I thought it had potential. Like, it was a good setup, like, for which characters were in it that were also in the first movie or were related to the first movie. And the premise, like, they basically Hunger Games'd it. With like the whole like political construct and social construct and rebellion and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. There was some parts that just like broke my immersion.
Was this movie subtitled or?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was in its original audio.
Yeah.
How was the music? Was the music good?
it was fun. I'd say nothing stand out.
I would say not memorable.
Okay.
I would say the fact that I don't remember music, the only time I remember music is pretty much on the title screen in the movie and then like the credits music. Maybe they had a little bit of music in between, but I don't remember much music for like the fights or anything. Maybe I'm wrong, in which case, well, if it is there, well, I didn't remember it, so I guess Ben's right.
Cool.
Yeah. So,
okay, so that's one movie.
That's
or
two
that's
movies.
two.
Oh, two.
We
movies.
saw Battle Royale. We decided. So Alex and I watched Battle Royale with a few other friends a year or two back, a few years ago. And Alex and I loved it. And then Ben and I got together semi-recently and watched the first one. And he also enjoyed it. I don't know if he liked it as much as Alex and I. But yeah, and then Alex and I had plans to watch the second one. So like, oh yeah, Ben's definitely invited. And his girlfriend was also invited as well. So that was the main point, was watching those two movies that night. So yeah, rewatch first one, then second one right after. Then we started Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you're familiar with that movie.
I've never seen it. I want to see it. But, I mean, go on.
It's a very uncomfortable movie.
I was just going to say.
Which,
well, that's what
that
it's meant to be,
exact thing.
right?
yeah, it is. And for that case, they nailed it. It was still, I guess part of it too is that we didn't know how much, 'cause I don't know, I feel like a bunch of those movies, you start off slow and work your way up.
Right.
Except by like 15 minutes in, we're already at a point where like, this feels like the peak. Like, how much further are they going to go here? In which case, then we just decided to turn it off. I did end up going back and watching the whole thing myself.
Oh, really?
That was the peak of it.
Oh, so it doesn't get any worse?
It does not get any worse. There's one more, I'll say this, there's one more questionable scene of a similar valor, but in that case, it is very short, and they paint it as something like disgusting and horrible.
Okay.
Where the scene we were watching almost looked like they were celebrating it.
Yeah.
Which was almost part of the disturbing part there. Which, again, the movie's supposed to be like disturbing and bothersome and stuff. But, yeah, we still ended up turning it off like 15 minutes in.
I'll have to finish it myself then.
Yeah, it's not bad. Again, mind you, I also enjoyed the movie, I guess, more watching by myself compared to with a group of other people.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird at that point.
Yeah,
'Cause,
exactly.
like, you're watching the scenes unfold and you're like, is everybody else seeing the same thing I'm seeing? Like,
yeah, you just don't know. It's like, do I just like... It's almost like watching like a sex scene in a movie with your parents.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
just like, do I look at the screen? Do I look at them? Do I just like look at my hands folded in my lap? Like, I don't know what I should do here.
do I jerk off? Do I?
If I have kids and like a scene like that comes up, I'm just gonna stare them like dead-eyed stare right in the eye, just to be like,
Pay attention, kids.
exactly.
You'll need to know this in life.
Yeah, no, it was just like stuff like that where it was just like, okay, well, this is a film, great. So yeah, we ended up stopping and then watching Kubo and the Two Strings as well.
Oh, that's one I watched recently too.
It's so good.
It's really good.
I
dude.
really enjoyed Kubo.
From the parts I saw, I liked it.
That's a good
I
point.
may or may not have fallen asleep for... I think I fell asleep longer than I actually thought. 'Cause I was like adamant I didn't fall asleep that long, but then when I woke up, I'm like, no, there was like a good chunk that I feel like I just missed.
Yeah, like probably I'd say around 60 to 70% of the way through the film. We were kind of like glancing over at Steven, and he was, I can't remember what you're doing. I think you were like leaned forward with your chin resting on your fists kind of thing.
I was like that at one point, yep.
And like you were closing your eyes for like a couple seconds at a time. And we just kept, I motioned to Sarah. I'm like, check it out. He's falling asleep. And like you were like, every time you close your eyes, they'd be closed just a little bit longer until eventually like you leaned back or whatever. And then your eyes were just, they never opened.
That's weird. Other than you apparently saying something, that I remember that exactly, because I remember I was leaning forward. I was like, I'm falling asleep on my hands. I need to lean back. And I leaned back. And the next thing I know, I woke up. I was like, oh my goodness. Like,
Yeah.
I really like the animation style of Kubo.
Yes.
That's probably my favorite part because it felt very much like Coraline and Paranorman, like that type of animation. I just absolutely love.
It's stop motion.
Now, was it part clay?
Well, they probably
claymation?
use a variety of materials.
well,
but
isn't stop motion, like, isn't claymation pretty much a version of stop motion?
yeah, claymation is stop motion that uses clay.
Oh, or were you just asking in general, did they use clay?
Yeah, I was asking.
Oh,
in general,
my
did they
apologies.
use clay in it because I don't remember.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least the characters, I'm assuming, were clay. And then, or at least some of them were. Because I think, because there's a mixture of different animations, wasn't it? There's no way that entire thing could be built stop motion.
Well, a lot of it was. Like, there's definitely lighting tricks and special effects and
I'm
stuff. but
sure there was some CGI in it.
It looked
Yeah, that's more
CGI.
what I was thinking, at least for parts.
I found that it looked CGI, most of it. But I know that most of it actually wasn't. That's how good of a job they did.
Yeah.
Like, they did a small clip right towards the end of the movie where they showed one of the monsters that Kubo faces, and the physical animating of that thing, and the I don't know, director or whatever was like adjusting the arms of this thing and such like that, and adjusting the lighting and doing all these snapshots and stuff. So it gave you a sense of like that part that you saw, that really technical like scene, was all done with this super difficult process. So
Yeah, it like really takes me back to the old Wallace and Gromit episodes because I think that was pretty much the start of the clay stop motion genre.
I don't know if it was the start. It definitely was made popular by that, I would say. I don't know. I don't know the history of stop motion.
I wonder how old Wallace and Gromit is. By the way, how far are you guys down in your beer?
I have not taken anything past the first sip.
I'm
Really?
probably
What are you gonna do with
halfway
it?
through it.
I'm probably going to dump it out right after this.
Oh, what are you gonna drink for the rest of this?
Nothing. I
Oh,
will take
I feel
nothing
so bad for
over
you.
this.
It's really not great.
This is considerably worse than what I was imagining. I was imagining like water with some weird slight other taste, not like
Water with a lemony taste.
there's something else in it. Like
Cat piss.
I mean, like, I know it's always the joke of, oh, like beer tastes like piss if it's bad, but this is really bad. Like
Like, it could be piss.
it's like rubbing alcohol and apple juice and like dirty water.
Man.
Like, oh.
Yeah. I just keep drinking it just to like, because I get like antsy or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I need to do something. Oh, I'll take a drink. So, I think Alex was telling me that the guy who plays Wallace from Wallace and Gromit passed away recently.
Yes, I am just looking that up right now. The role's been passed on to Ben Whitehead.
They still make Wallace and Gromit stuff? Or role to be passed on?
It says 2000. Oh no, wait, that's starring. It says he's voice acting to present, so I'm assuming yes,
okay.
because it's a British show.
Yeah, maybe it's aired on British TV and not here.
There it is. Original release December 24th, 1990.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So there you go. Maybe it isn't the first one then.
I'd say, because, well, like, the idea of stop motion in general goes back, I'd assume, pretty far.
Yeah, probably.
Are you looking up the history of stop motion right now?
No.
Okay. That's what I was about to do.
I'm getting safe word ready.
Oh my goodness, if I could type.
I type in like Wallace and Gromit, and one of the first things that Google pops up is how old is Wallace and Gromit? And the answer to it is like just describing what Wallace and Gromit is, has nothing to do about the time or date of it or anything.
All right, I just looked this up. I want you guys to guess though what year. I'll say this: it's way earlier than you think.
Okay, so this is the year
First usage of stop motion, not claymation, stop motion. So in theory, if it was claymation, it could arguably put in stop motion, but stop motion could be like toys or something being like moved slightly.
I can imagine that, like before classic filmmaking techniques, it like this would be the only way to make any sort of like visual capture. So it would probably be like really early.
Could they do? Well, like wasn't the first like movie like an actual move, like people moving? I don't think they had.
Because all a video is just a series of still images.
Yeah.
But this stop motion is just like you're purposefully manipulating whatever is in the scene and then taking a picture and then changing it and taking another picture.
But do you think they... I'm going to look this up. First movie. Or first movie almost doesn't sound right. Because in theory, you could have like a short little clip, and that's not necessarily a movie. First film recording. Because, yeah, in a sense, I agree with you, but I don't know if anybody would have necessarily thought of doing that without, like, people.
In my mind, the year 1920 keeps swirling around, so I'm going to go with that.
1920 is your guess? All right, what's your guess?
I was going to go, like... I feel like 1920 might be a little too early. I was going to say, like, 1958 or something like that.
Okay.
If this was Price is Right, you would both be over.
What?
Really?
1897.
Whoa.
I would have never guessed before 1900. There's no way.
Crazy.
So
For what's worth, the first movie, I looked that up, or first film. Yeah, I did first film recording is what I looked up. That was 1888.
Does it say what the recording was?
The recording or the stop motion?
The stop motion.
Credited to Albert E. Smith and J. Stuart Blackton for Vitagraph's The Humpty Dumpty Circus in 1897.
Of course.
That sounds so nice and pleasant.
except that the story of Humpty Dumpty is that he, killed
Dies.
himself. Okay, that's interesting. So like
That's really
120 years ago, stop motion came into existence.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I think this beer is actually starting to grow on me a bit.
No way.
I think things are growing in the beer.
Oh, it's vile.
I mean, the more you have it, it's beer.
I don't
I
think
can
it
taste
is.
the beer.
I don't think it is beer.
Well, you guys just
It's
start
like
drinking
apple
it. You're not
juice.
giving it a chance.
I'll take one extra sip.
Please do.
I will double the amount I've drank so far.
Please do.
I'm about halfway through.
I
mine.
hate wasting beer.
Nope. Oh man, that's bad.
How do you feel about wasting Steven?
Oh, you can have the rest of mine if you don't want to waste it.
No
way.
See, if Steven takes one more drink, there'll be like the lights will turn off and then it'll just say red wasted in front of him and he'll pass out. All right, let's move into safe word.
All right.
Let's do it.
Safe word is the game show in our show, which is where we take terms and sentences and such off of urbandictionary.com and give our best shot at figuring out what they really mean. I've brought 3 words tonight that Nick and Steven will try to define. So your guys' first word or term or sentence, freaky paragraphs. What are freaky paragraphs?
Freaky paragraphs.
Okay, so you guys remember I don't know, maybe it's because my friend group has grown up a bit, or maybe it's just not popular anymore. Back in like the early days of social media when people would just write long angsty paragraphs for like their Facebook statuses or their Nexopia blogs or whatever. And just like, these people don't understand how good they have it. I am this, or whatever. And they just have like this long paragraph pretty much calling out Notebite, but they're just like subtly without saying names, like smack talking someone. That's a freaky paragraph.
Okay.
They make it sound like it's like this super serious thing they can't talk about, but really it's just high school angst, and none of it's going to matter in 2 weeks. But they think it's important, and everybody gets kind of freaked out over it.
I was gonna say it's just along the lines of being a long paragraph, but it's just poorly constructed and lots of errors in it, and it just a paragraph that just doesn't make sense, and it keeps running on. There's no real end to it.
So it's like a first draft of like something somebody's written or something, like unedited and
Yeah, something like that.
all freaky.
Yeah.
All right.
More so just as a paragraph though, just like really long.
Freaky paragraph is when you ask your boyfriend or girlfriend to write sexy shit to you about what they want to do to you.
So it's like a sext.
Yeah,
Really?
it's like a sext,
Okay.
but like probably handwritten in like
handwritten.
some sort of like note format, like slip a note.
Has to be a paragraph.
So you want them to like mail it to you at work so you can have like an official letter from someone, and then
Yeah, absolutely.
okay.
Huh.
That's freaky paragraphs. Your next term. Upperwear.
Oh, that's anything you wear above the waist. Simple.
Upperwear. Have you guys ever seen those one-piece bathing suits? I think they're more worn by men, but I'm not sure. It's pretty much just like a Speedo with like suspenders on it.
Oh yes, I know what you're talking about. Like the old school like track suits kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's upperwear. Like that type of style of just like, mostly it's kind of like an underwear thing, but for some reason you feel the need to have suspenders going over your shoulders pretty much because it's not really keeping it up. It just kind of exists.
Almost like a singlet.
Singlet is probably what I'm thinking of. I'm going to quickly double check and Google one.
It's like a wrestling outfit.
Yeah.
kind
of like a singlet, but I'm thinking something more revealing.
If you're gonna Google singlet, you probably should go into incognito mode or something, because you don't know what
I'm
you're
thinking
gonna get.
like, for what's worth, for viewers playing at home, I would not look this up in public or anywhere. Singlet swimsuit came up with something like this.
Oh yes.
This is what I'm kind of imagining here.
We need a photo of you.
They
in
have a
one of those.
variety of different styles.
Okay,
but-
I see. But yeah,
so
there's
not like that. Like that's
no.
yeah, that's
No.
just like a normal
But-
suit.
It's a male suit where the shorts, oh god,
Just gets
or in
funnier
this
as you
case,
go.
thong is just attached to a strap that goes up and around your neck.
Yeah, so pretty much imagine underwear with suspenders and pretty much have what you're looking at here.
Okay.
All right. What is it?
Upperwear is the wardrobe you create when you work online or on TV and are only seen from
Oh.
the waist up.
Yes, I know of that.
Huh.
Do you do that sometimes?
I do not, because I don't work from home. Well, I sometimes do, but not ever for like video conferencing and stuff where I need to look presentable,
Yeah.
waist up. I do know of people who do that though.
Yeah.
Where, they'll just like, like just wake up, they're working all day, it's like, oh shoot, I have a meeting, put on just like a suit jacket and shirt, and then just like wearing nothing
Yeah.
waist below. It's
No
like,
pants.
sick.
The next one. Sauna bomb.
When you fart in a sauna, like in a hot tub or something.
Okay. For once you were
Uh,
quick on that.
Maybe he's read it already.
Yeah, because upperwear felt like the obvious one last time, and Nick took it. So like, oh, I need to get this
A
off.
son of bomb.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like an exploding bomb.
So it's spelled
BOMB.
okay. What a bomb. Maybe it's something like, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank on this one. I'm trying to like think about like outside the box of what it could be.
Take your time. Drink some more of that disgusting beer.
I think that might help.
I'm done with mine. I
I
can't.
might have a better answer.
Oh? Well,
Yeah.
We'll bring it. It'll give Nick more time.
You guys know what a Dutch oven is?
Yes.
So if you give somebody a Dutch oven, you're arguably making the warm under there warmer, kind of like a sauna.
Wait, what if somebody doesn't know what a Dutch oven is?
So when you cover somebody up with blankets, then fart underneath the blankets.
Right.
So a sauna bomb is kind of similar, except you accidentally let out a wet one, and you have sauna bombed the other person.
Okay.
Gross. I love it. I'm just gonna say it's just a terrorist attack on a sauna.
Jeez.
All right. A sauna bomb. Running into a sauna naked and pooping on the heat source.
Oh no.
I like how both mine kind of had the right idea.
Yeah. Something to do with
Need to just put them together, you know.
yeah. So
Was that then a safe word?
yeah.
Okay. Have you guys ever seen the Japanese prank videos where like a guy's hanging out in a sauna? They'll have, I'm sure they have them here where we live too. They have like nude saunas.
Yep.
Or you're allowed to be naked in their saunas. And just like they'll have one guy there if he's going to put like you can put like extra water over the heat source to add the steam or whatever, right? And the guy stands up to do that. Just like 300 naked dudes just all run into the sauna and just like crush him up against the wall. It's just the funniest thing in the world. Well, they had another one where it wasn't quite a sauna. It was some sort of like a relaxation type area of a ski hill.
Okay.
I'm blanking on a good word for it. They like these massage chairs. It's like, and it's same idea. You're usually naked in these areas, so they'll have a guy go and sit in the chair. So the chair, like the back would be facing the mountain, and the wall will just like come out from underneath them, make a slide, and they just push the guy out and backwards onto the ski hill.
That's so awesome.
I
It's
gotta
incredible.
check these out. Those sound really funny.
Dude, the Japanese prank videos. There's a bunch of different ones that are just like caught popularity of like several times just doing a similar thing. There's one similar to the sauna one where a guy will be in a hot tub by himself and just like 100 other naked dudes just go and jump in the hot tub and just empty out all the water. The guy's just squished amongst all these naked people.
I think I might have seen that one.
Oh man, they're classic. I love them.
If there's one thing the Japanese know how to do well, it's entertain.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Did you ever watch Japanese game shows where like
Oh yeah.
there was a really popular one where they did human Tetris?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Most Extreme Challenge, what Wipeout was based off of.
Oh, I
Um,
never realized that.
It was considerably more painful, I think.
Yeah.
And generally instead of falling into water, you fell in the mud. But they had ones where it was like a guessing game. So they'd have 3 doors, and behind 2 of them were brick walls. And then the last one was just like open. It was just like paper covering it or whatever.
Yeah.
So they would just go like run like full force and just smash against brick walls. Trying to, it wasn't a real boulder, obviously, but they had like a boulder run. So you start running up this hill, and people from top will push like a giant ball down on you, and you have like little alcoves you can hide in on your way up.
Yeah.
That
they
one was
would
great.
They would like go 3 at a time, and they like push each other out little these alcoves, and they get run over by the ball.
Oh man,
Yeah, good shows.
yeah. Did you guys ever seen the Blue Blank? It's a series. It's a bunch of like Japanese comedians. They do. I think they do these game shows either like, I don't know if they put them on every week or if every year they just do like a series of games of them playing them. But they do a bunch of different type of stuff. So one was I'm completely blanking. This is horrible. The idea is that they watch a funny video, and then if you laugh, people will just run in and just like beat them, and then or like we'll give them like a spanking or whatever, and then just like run out. So like one was just like this guy trying to count. So he's trying to count in English. He's like 1, 2, 3, and he keeps making mistakes, and occasionally one of them snickers, and just like a giant alarm goes off, and he like leans over, and they come and just like hit him with a giant paddle. And then as one guy laughs, other people start laughing at this guy looking ridiculous getting spanked by a giant paddle. Then eventually goes like 18, 19, 10, 10. And they just like all lose, and just like it's 10 guys lined up against the walls, 10 people in like masks charging paddle each one of them.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Oh man.
10 10. I think I may have seen that, and like 30 was 10 10 10
Yeah.
or whatever.
Oh man.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah,
Or
10 10 1, 10 10 2.
10 10 3, 10 10 9, 10 10 10. Steven, your dad is a goat.
Yes, he is.
And speaking of goats, he posted on Facebook today something that made me laugh out loud.
Oh, okay.
So your parents are on vacation where again?
Carousel.
Carousel. And your dad is just like the master of wit, I'd say. But a while ago, he posted on Facebook a picture of him from the plane. And he said, "Man, I'm high as a kite right now," or something like that. And it's like, it's totally like, I don't know if he knew what he was like implying with that, but
yeah.
that
Yeah, for what's worth, he's a very wonderful and kind of like North American Christian man. Like, he's just very, like, down to earth with his values and everything. Definitely not one to... He doesn't, like, enjoy any substances, like, at all. He doesn't drink at all. He doesn't even enjoy, as much as kind of, like, weird to say, and some people were, like, sugar or, like, chocolate and stuff is kind of thing they really enjoy. He doesn't even enjoy, like, any of that. He's very much, like, kind of by the books type person. So him being like, I woke up high as a kite today. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was today or yesterday. Not that it matters. He posted a picture of I'll say what the caption was first. He said, drove by the school today and saw all these kids playing in the road. And it's just a picture of a herd of goats on the street.
I saw that, yes.
And I believe it was goats, or whatever the baby form is called a kid.
Yeah, that's goats.
So
That's amazing.
I laughed out loud at that.
just the goofiest jokes. I love it so much.
I know.
Just like,
He should set up a Twitter.
Oh, he totally should.
he said something, what did he say to his coworker recently? He said something of like, it was somebody's like birthday, one of his coworkers' birthday. He's like, oh yeah, happy birthday, da da da. And this other guy who my dad has no idea who he is was just like, hey, it's my birthday next week. My dad just looks at him. He's like, I hope you make it.
It's so quick, man.
Oh man,
It's so quick.
Genius.
You've probably known him a while.
Quite a while. Yeah.
Any particular stories from?
Nothing specific because it always feels like there's something new.
Oh yeah.
I guess the ones that like generally I remember are the ones that just seem like small things that just seem wonderful. So like one was this one time, this was back in the earlier days of cell phones. We didn't really have like caller ID or you couldn't see your past calls or anything. He just got a cell phone. He's looking for ways to mess with people at work. There's this guy who was on like a 15-foot ladder or something. My dad's like, I know what to do. Just calls his cell phone, just sits like around a corner, watches the guy climb all the way back down, right when he gets to his phone, just hangs up. Guy goes all the way back up, calls him again. He's like, I did this like 4 or 5 times. Just looking like this guy, like a yo-yo, just going back up and down, and just like laughing to himself. Like, this is wonderful. Like, this is the best invention I've ever had. Like,
Oh my god.
You can't get away with that these days anymore.
I remember when like we finally got cell phones as teenagers or whatever, and I tried calling you, and anytime it would go to voicemail, you'd be like, "Yo," and then, but I didn't know it was voicemail. I thought it was just you saying, "Yo." I'm like,
yeah, I was
"Hey,
that
man."
tool.
Yeah. Hey man, how's it going? I just wanted to see if you wanted to hang out. He's just like, I'm not at the phone right now. Please leave a message. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Oh, Phil does that too. He'll start it off with like hello, and it'll be like such a legit hello. Like I'll be phoning him like on site, just asking him, just like, hey dude, I forgot to bring like a broom and shovel. I need you to get somebody to come back, and I'll be talking for like a good 3 minutes and be like, I'm not at the phone right now. Please leave a message. I'm like,
Because most people start off their conversations the same way. So it's like, hello? Hey, how are you? I'm doing good. How are you? And you kind of like bounce back and forth with that for at least a couple exchanges until it's like, no, I'm not actually here. I'm always nervous. To this day, I'm still pretty sure I changed it, but I'm not 100% sure I've changed it because I never see my own voicemail. So I'm always nervous if I'm going to get a call from like a coworker or something that's just going to be like, Steven, your voicemail sucks.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened yet. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm good, but I don't know.
I got called recently, sort of bouncing off of your like predictive sort of response thing. I got a call recently saying that I'd won a vacation.
Oh.
And I normally hang on to these phone calls because if it's an automated one, they'll say, if you'd like to be removed from our call list, press 1. But most people hang up too early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
So, so hang on just a little bit longer, and then they'll say, if you don't want to receive these phone calls anymore, press 1, and we'll put you on our do not call list. I'm like, oh, sweet. Never got called again until somebody else called me. And this one, it wasn't like a robot voice. It sounded like a human voice. And the person's like, hi, I'm calling from this company. Someone you know or a relative of yours applied for our whatever promotion and won a trip to the Caribbean or something like that. I'm like, who was the relative or person that I know? Can I have their name? And they're just like, I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. I'm like, well, that seems kind of strange. So what's this trip about? And I'm at work, right? I'm just like, I want to drag this out kind of, but it's kind of urgent. I'm like, well, what information can you tell me about this mysterious trip? And they're just like, well, and then just repeated what they had said, like a relative of yours or whatever has signed up for our program and you've won the trip. And I'm just like, well, I'm not sure if you're a robot or not. And there was a pause, and it was just like, well, I'm sort of limited to the responses I can make based on what the clients ask me. And I'm just like, so you're a human? And the person's like, I'm sort of limited to responses I can make, but whatever, just repeated themselves.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure if I'm speaking to a human or not, kind of thing. It was very bizarre.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, I'm not interested in taking the trip. And they're just like, okay, thank you, bye. And then hung up. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh man.
But it was really weird.
It was just one of those moments where you just couldn't tell, just like, am I talking to a robot or am I not talking to a robot?
And every time I had said something, there was a slight pause, almost as if a human was checking a list of responses to make.
Yeah.
Like, under questions asked, or statements made, and then follow the flow chart kind of thing. But it was bizarre.
It's weird. I don't think I've ever had something like that. It's always been very obvious when I'm not speaking to an actual person. But I've heard of other people having that thing where they're like, I can't quite tell.
Well, there was an old RT podcast where Bernie Burns was talking about how he experienced this, but he legit asked them, like, are you a robot? And the person's like, does my voice sound that bad today? And he felt really bad. He's just like, I'm sorry. I used to work in a call center, and like I've dealt with these sort of systems before. And then the person still like did things that made them sound like a robot.
I think I remember this one is that they would never say no.
Yeah.
It would be like, you'd ask like a blatant question like yes, no, that the answer is definitely no, and they still would not say it. They would have some roundabout way. And he's like, did they train their system not, or do they have their system not able to say no? Or why would this person just say, no, we can't do that?
Because he said, like, so just to clarify, for sure you are not a robot. And the person's just like, I'm here to assist you with whatever, blah, blah, blah. Just like very non-human response. And it's just like, oh, this is kind of bizarre. And I thought it was really interesting. And then it happened to me. And I'm like, oh, no way. So I wanted to try to drag it out as long as I could. And
my favorite are the tech support ones.
Oh, yeah.
Where they tried to like get in your computer through like a VNC or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, like, we're from Apple. We know you have like a bad Mac computer. It's like, I don't own a Mac computer. Like, oh, you have an issue with your Windows computer.
Yeah.
Nice try, homie.
Yeah. And that's the worst too, because a lot of people will fall for that easily.
Yeah.
Because especially the people who aren't as tech savvy, say like an older person, they're more likely to have a simpler system to understand, such as a Mac. So that's why the people would go to Mac first. It's like, if you've been having any of these very generic and common issues that you can live without, whatever, then you need to give us this information, and then we'll fix it for you from here. And they're like, okay, here's my information. And then they get scammed out of money. Or they'll get you to go on a website and install some virus removal, which actually puts viruses on.
Yeah, like that pop-up that says that looks like a Windows like web page saying you need to download this.
My sister fell for that. I was so upset. So she got it was like just a pop-up like it was from an antivirus software that doesn't exist and that she didn't install, but she's like, oh, I must have installed this a while ago. Or she's like, I don't remember installing antivirus software, but it's saying I have a virus, so it says I need to install this, then restart my computer. I was like, I can't believe you. No way. Yeah, that was a few hours of extra work for me that night, just fighting to figure this out.
You should have just told her, like, if you're not sure, just ask me. And
I'm like, nothing else, just like say no and like go down, like pretty much if anything ever pops up that you don't recognize asking you to download something, X out and go search for that download yourself.
Yeah.
Like, done. It's like, oh, and don't get wrong, I trust Steam. Like Steam, I will just go restart. But if it was something where like Steam gave me something slightly sketchy, I'd be like, screw it, X out of everything, launch Steam myself, and go check for updates. It's like nothing shows up. Well, that was some sort of scam or something.
Yeah.
She didn't realize that, and yeah, got nailed.
That's really unfortunate. I got a really bad virus once because like it just like it wasn't like I was on like any sketchy sites or anything. I was just streaming like some anime, and I go to like I was watching anime all day on this site, and then the one time I go into the full screen and it pops up like one of those ad things, and it's just like wait 5 seconds to continue, and I didn't wait and I clicked too early, and it downloaded like all these crazy viruses on my computer.
Oh man.
It's weird. I've never gotten a virus that was my own fault. Like, I've had other people like get viruses that were then on the computer I was using, but like I've downloaded all sorts of like super small programs from like weird sketchy sites. I was like, oh, like here's some janky video converter or something. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I need right now. Never once had an issue with it being a virus.
I got a virus when I was in university, so not even that long ago. A few years, where I had my laptop, and my laptop had a touch screen. So that was just like a feature or whatever. And then in my computers class, we learned about operating systems and how like there's a whole bunch of third-party ones as well. And there was this one, I don't remember what it was called, but essentially the idea of it was, instead of it being like one surface as the desktop, it was almost like you were in a room, and each of the walls of the room were a place that you could store like shortcuts to programs and stuff. So you'd be looking at one wall, and you could sort of see the edges of the other two walls, like a perspective thing, and you could touch the screen and swipe and go to the next wall.
Okay, it's like virtual desktops.
Yes.
I think is what it's called. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool, because I'm all about customizing and stuff like that. So I decided to try to get one, and I got one, and the icon for the exe file or whatever was like the head of some black dude. So like borderline Nigerian prince. And it didn't clue into me. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I clicked on it, and I opened it, and everything worked totally fine. And then like a month later, I had all these viruses, and I know it wasn't from anything else. I was like, maybe I shouldn't have trusted the Nigerian prince.
That's really interesting. I've never heard of something like that before, where they like, because most of them, at least my understanding is that they either don't do anything like super visible, or they do things in the background, just straight print, just fry things, like eat all of your data and then immediately just kill your computer.
Yeah.
Or install like a keylogger or something. I haven't really seen much where it's like, we'll give you actually functional software and we'll just eat your data at the same time while you use your functional.
Yeah, like it's doing it in the background when you're not paying attention. I don't have that laptop anymore, but yeah, was not fun. I just love the idea of the virtual desktop, and
I'm pretty sure Windows has that feature.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure it's just built in, at least for newer OSs. Probably not. I don't think Windows 7 or before, but anything after that, I'm like 90% sure.
Yeah,
because Linux has had it for a long time.
This was before Windows 10, at least. This might have been right when Windows 8 came out.
Yeah. Okay, in which case, yeah, it's something you might have right now. I'd suggest potentially looking into it.
I thought it was cool because I could integrate the touchscreen technology to use it.
Okay, I don't know if something like that exists
by
default.
Because, yeah, my laptop had a touchscreen, and it's just like, oh, I can use the touchscreen from this instead of clicking and dragging kind of thing. Because that just seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'd rather have everything in front of me at that point.
I'm pretty sure, I'd have to double check, but I think the way, if it is what I'm thinking of, like if we are thinking the same things, you just use like Alt 1, 2, 3, 4, and then flip through them that way. It's like, oh, Alt 1 will be your main page, Alt 2 is your whatever, Alt 3. I don't know.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I need to look into this.
I'll say I'm not a big fan of pages. Like pages on like a phone where you can like swipe left and right and have like all your apps all on like the main screen, or like the same on the computer where you can have multiple pages and swiping. I like having everything on the one screen.
Yeah.
See how many different things you use your computer for, though? Because no, I actually use all on the same screen too, but I have everything like stored into folders and stuff, and for what I actually want to access. If I had like, okay, like all my video game related things were on the fourth screen, all my programming related things were on the first screen, any like random files or notes and stuff are on second, like you then bounce back and forth that way. Maybe that would be cool.
Maybe. I'm not talking like having like two different monitors where you can
go
between the two, because of course I do that and it's fantastic. But I'm talking like if you like had like one page and then you just swipe over and then it's in the next stage and then swipe over and it's another page kind of thing.
Kind of like you have on your phone where it's just pages of apps.
See, I think it'd be more useful of just like if I'm like sitting down, it's like a Friday night, I'm like I just want to play some games, I can just hit like Alt 4 or something, and then I just don't have any other files in my way. So they're just a bunch of like shortcuts to whatever games I want to play. If I'm working, it's not like I have to sift through all that. In theory, I just have it. Like, if I went deep enough in the folder, sure, like, I could find all those applications so I can create new shortcuts. It's more just like, if I don't want to see that stuff because it's not relevant to me right now, I could just categorize that onto a different screen almost, even though it's not on a different screen.
Would that not still use up the CPU while it's on a different screen?
If you had an application running, yes. But in theory, you're just having all these short... Like, I'm not saying you're running a video game on the fourth screen, then running your work on the first screen. I'm just saying, like, in different... Same way you might have a folder for... I keep going video games because it's the easy one. So you might have a folder for video games and a folder for tax-related stuff and a folder for this. Instead of having, like, 4 different folders on your desktop, you just have your first desktop as your video games, your second desktop as your taxes, your third desktop as whatever. It's just shortcuts to everything from there. So it's just another way of displaying information, I guess, and then clearing it out if it's not relevant to you.
I love how you said, like, I don't know why my mind keeps going back to video games, and then, like, the second thing you say is just, like, video games, tax receipts. Yeah.
I just switched it up somehow. Like, I don't know what's relevant to you guys, what you use your computers for. Videos,
Music,
editing.
pictures.
Music, sure. I have all of my media perfectly organized. Like, I hate iTunes because I think iTunes does a worse job organizing it than I do. So therefore,
I'm the opposite.
Everybody loves iTunes.
I think iTunes is brilliant. Windows Media Player is no good.
Yeah, Windows. No, I mean, like, I literally have everything like in individual folders and everything perfectly named what I want, all on a certain partition of my hard drive. Like,
so what do you use to play your music?
I don't really play music off my computer that often. Even then, I'll find some other application other than iTunes. I can't stand iTunes.
So do you just...
At one point, I built my own. I think I scrapped it at some point.
Oh, yeah? Built your own program?
Yeah. I can't stand iTunes.
Or do you just throw the music on your media device and then just listen to it there kind of thing?
Yeah, usually.
Okay.
But it's
otherwise, I'll straight just like pick and choose songs, or even if I do have several songs, I'll even just drag them into Windows Media Player and just delete them off Windows Media Player at the end. I'll happily do that over using iTunes. I just don't like it at all. If I spent the time to learn it better, maybe I'd like it, but I don't know.
There's something I don't like about certain web pages that's become a trend these days. And it's when...
I think I know what you're talking about.
I may have expressed my complaints to you before. It's when, say you're on a mobile site, and it's just a online store or whatever, and you want to look at the products for this thing, there's the sort of navigation button in the top left that says menu or whatever, and that takes you to the rest of the site. Totally fine. But the front page of this website is just a huge image with just a little sentence, and you have to scroll past this huge image to get to another huge image with another little message, which is like their advertising or whatever.
I might have an example because I think I know what you're talking about. I'm just going to quickly load.
I'm pretty sure Apple has it for their website, but
okay, that's
they
not
might.
what I was thinking.
But
I actually think, based on what it is, it sounds like something called the Bootstrap design.
Yeah.
So almost something, not quite this, I don't think, but something kind of like this, where it's just like a giant block image and a little bit of text. Like, as I scroll up, it's not as bad, but like those, or like that.
Yeah, it's. Here, let me go to Apple for a second,
Sure.
because I'm pretty sure they do it.
Is it based on what you're describing? Actually, reminds me of a couple friends. I don't know if this wouldn't just be exclusive to it, but there's a certain type of web design, like a collection of tools you can use called Bootstrap.
Okay.
I think it's actually technically what Twitter uses, or maybe Twitter just created it. But some friends of mine made some websites when I was at Say It, and all of them used Bootstrap, and every single time it was the same thing. It was those giant images with like one sentence text, sometimes just over the image, sometimes beside it. But you just scroll past a giant image, even on desktop, before you could get to what you were actually wanting to look at.
Yeah.
And I did similar thing. I was like, oh, like it kind of looks nice. Because to me, that almost looks like your loading page of like, welcome, and you have that image, then the image disappears and you get the actual website. Like, to me, it didn't seem like something I wanted to scroll past.
Yeah. So this is Apple's site. The first image is like a bunch of their watches or whatever, and it's just, Apple Watch. But then you scroll down, and it's another big image.
Oh, so just a collection of images.
It's just a collection of images.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
it's just
kinda
like,
weird.
if you go to the Apple store and they've just released the iPhone 8, for example, it'll be a huge picture of the iPhone 8 where most of the phone is cut off. You can't even see the whole thing, and it'll just say like, you're living in the future now, or something like that. You're like, yeah, that's great and all, but I want to know the specs. I want to know how much this thing costs. I want to know when it's releasing.
To be fair, you can click on it, can't you?
That's the problem, is you have to click on it. And I can just as easily click off the page. It's like the one step that's either going to make or break it, right?
I guess, but otherwise, if you display all the information, then that's a lot of extra information on that page.
Well, see, I like having access to all that information just immediately. And even if you do click on it, usually it'll take you to a list of iPhones or something. And then you have to pick on the one you want. And then once you're on that one, there's a huge list of specs. And then you're like, it'll say, oh, here's the 64 gigabyte version. Here's the 128 gigabyte version. You click on that, and now you have a price. And then on top of that, it's got like your Apple Care or whatever. I don't use iPhones. Like, I don't have one or anything. I just noticed on sites like this is sort of the trend.
I can't remember what the exact number was, but there's like a specific magic number where it's like after, I'm just going to make it up because I don't remember what it is. Let's say it was 2.3 seconds. If somebody has to wait longer than that, most of the time they'll just exit out of your page and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember what it is for like how many times you have to click through something to find the information, but there's a magic number there too of like you should be able to get to whatever page you want within 3 clicks of entering the home page or something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's too complicated. Something like that.
And
with Apple's ease of use, it's interesting to me that they're failing at that, in your opinion.
Yeah.
Or maybe amongst a lot of people's opinions. If it does take that many clicks, I agree. That kind of sucks. But I don't buy Apple either. So
yeah, and it's not to rip on Apple or anything. It's just that's the
easy example.
That's the easy example. It's just like there's not a whole lot of information immediately, kind of thing. You have to scroll to the bottom to get to a bunch of menus. And then it's like, okay, now you open up all these menus, and they're very vaguely named menus sometimes. Like this one's called Apple Values. What is that? Is that their company like code of conduct, or like what is it?
I'm gonna go open their site now. That's very surprising me that their site sucks that much.
Yeah. And then you open the Apple Values thing. It's
okay, yeah, that's if you scroll away to the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but like this top left one.
Oh no, the top left one is fine.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I showed you the site, Nick. It's like this huge image with like all these huge images with no information. It's like, oh, The Rock and Siri, like, okay.
Well, yeah, okay. I see what you mean.
I don't know. It's just a pet peeve of mine.
I've got a new
enough.
pet peeve.
Oh.
Of this whole internet thing.
The whole internet
thing. It's driving me crazy now. I really don't like I'll type in something along the lines of like phones coming out 2018 or something like that.
Okay.
And then one of the links will be like, okay, here's like the top 10 anticipated phones of 2018 and the future and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I want to click on that and look at it. So then it'll take you to a page with a description. Like what I want a description of what it is, and I scroll down. There's the first one, description what it is.
Oh, I
scroll
know what
down,
you're talking about now.
picture, second one. But instead I get a website where it shows a description, and then I have to click a button to move on to another page where it shows the next product. Click a button to go onto another page.
Yes, your top 10 list is now over 10 different pages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's driving me crazy. When I see that, I just immediately leave.
Yeah.
I'm right with you. Yeah, that's one for me to leave as well. Like, I'm fine if it's a long, even if it's 10 items, like, sure, they want to split up into 2, maybe even 3 pages. Like, I get it. Having a really long page can be bad for your search engine optimization, stuff like that. So, like, I get it. I don't want 10 items, though. The moment I click on see 10 different pages, like, nope. Like, I'm out.
Especially when you're doing big lists, like if it's like a top 50 or something, and they do a page for each 50.
Even just like a page like with 5 each, that's still 10 pages.
Yeah, it's too much. Because then when you like want to go like back to the search to find like a different page, I mean, obviously you would want to right click or just research in Google, but like you click the back button, forgetting that like you've opened a new page, and you think like, oh, maybe the back button didn't work, so you click it again, and then all of a sudden you're like cycling back one click at a time. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
For what's worth, I just tried actually finding the price of a iPhone 7. It took me 4 clicks, including scrolling down a gigantic page filled with a ton of images and like extra text.
This is
of,
what I'm
like
talking
detailing
about.
the
Through
phone.
the Apple website?
Yeah, and like this is a long like especially if you're like casually going down it, like you have a long way to go.
Oh my
And this is just to get to
goodness.
another link to
Oh my
tell you.
goodness.
Oh, let's just get to another link to eventually tell you.
What?
Have you click one more thing, then they start tell you this is your monthly plan for it. They don't even tell you what the final price would be.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, that's huge. I can't. Like, it looks slick, and maybe that's more important to people. But yeah, to me, I'm actually with you. Like, I thought maybe you were exaggerating a bit, but this. Oh, actually, I guess the buy button's in the top right. But still, to me, that seems
really?
like I'm jumping straight to the cart where I'd rather just see like a price on there.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh.
even so, getting down to like the specs and stuff, it looked like you had to scroll quite
Oh
a
yeah,
ways to get
that
to it.
was a huge page.
And it's just huge images of their phone cropped off. Like, yeah.
It definitely looks slick though. Like for their their market, like or
Their
the people I
demographic.
assume is Apple's demographic and market. Yeah, I guess that works.
Yeah, it's very polished. Like,
Yeah, because again, it looks really good. I just don't care. I don't
Yeah.
have time for that. I'd rather like have all that cut out and get all the information in a quarter of the time.
yeah.
Most people don't like that though because they're just different. But
Yeah, that's my feeling as well. One more internet pet peeve, and then we'll start to wrap up. Skippable ads on YouTube.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So in the bottom right, it's a small square that says you can skip this ad in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it counts down. And after it's counted down, the skip ad button is smaller. So if you're like really impatient and you're just constantly tapping on the 5-second to skip button, and then not like just you're like, okay, it'll just skip when it's down, you don't have to pay attention anymore, the button becomes smaller, so you're more likely to miss it
Really?
and click on the ad.
Really?
I've never noticed that. That's just really interesting.
It's probably just like a problem unique to me because I've done this before, and it's just like I was just hitting the button that's saying it's about to skip, just waiting for the actual skip button to happen. And when the actual skip button happened, it was too small for my thumb essentially, and my thumb missed. I'm like, oh.
I got another one. Have you guys ever been surfing like web pages on your phone and it loads a page and you see what you're wanting, and right before you go to click it, an ad loads,
It
pushing it
jumps,
down, and you click
yes.
something else? Nothing tilts me more. Even the one website I go to that I like frequently notice it, I always know where I'm going to. I'm like, okay, I need to wait. But I sit there and like I wait a second. I'm like, it's not there. Maybe just click, and it seems like they just know.
They know.
Like it's like I wait 10 seconds. Okay, no, I guess I'm just good. Go to click it, moves. Like I go and click it immediately. It's like the ad loads immediately. I was like, I can't believe this. This is ridiculous.
I'm wondering because like how much experience do you have with web development?
A fair amount.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably more than most people actually. But
I've built a couple sites from ground up.
so how hard is it to make everything on the page display at the exact same time and nothing be delayed like that?
Depends.
That's a pretty generic question, I guess.
Yeah,
but-
I guess so. There's different techniques you can kind of do to do this. One of the problems with it is that the way this might depend on the programming language you do. I'll use PHP as an example. PHP is fairly popular. At least back in the day, I'm pretty sure it's losing some popularity. But with that, they'll only let you download X amount of the data at once. So there's a way to automatically just force the data that's currently been processed out. Otherwise, every, let's say, 3 kilobytes, it'll just push it all to the user. So in that case, it has no choice but to load it piece by piece.
Right.
There's ways you can hide that by simply making some sort of, I'll just say a GIF. Usually use something a little bit nicer. You just put a GIF over top of the page of like a loading symbol, and then wait for everything to spit out. Then just hide the GIF. Then everything appears nicely behind it.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, there's a couple techniques you can do to kind of get around it, but
That's expensive to add that in, I guess.
not necessarily expensive. Just arguably, it's not always better to do that.
Okay.
Right? Just like again, because how often is it a big deal if everything doesn't load immediately?
Yeah.
And then there's other ways to even hide it, like what's it called? Dynamic loading? No, lazy loading. So have you ever seen where you like scroll to the bottom of a web page and all of a sudden like more stuff loads? when
Yes.
you hit the bottom. That's called lazy loading.
Right.
And then that's another way where it's like, hey, we don't need to load everything immediately. You can load partial and then slowly get more as you go.
If they want more information, they'll get to the point
Yeah.
where, and then it'll give them more.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I mean, with advertisements, it could all easily be skipped if you just like move your advertisement to the side of the page. Because I don't mind when advertisements like go over there, because I'm focusing on what's in the middle, right? If the advertisement for like an anime or TV show I want to watch comes up on the side, I might click on it and go check it out. But when it pops up on the page that I'm trying to read, or even like while you're scrolling through, you'll get like a huge block of ad. And then you have to scroll past that just to continue reading what you were supposed to be reading.
Well, yeah, they want to put in the ad in a place you can't miss it. So, like on YouTube, they'll put the ad before the video. It's like you have to watch this, or before you can do the thing you actually want to do. And that's just like a lot of people, out of spite, will say, "Well, I'm not buying your product because you put your damn advertisement in my face." But they've already got you at that point. They've already put their product in your in your head kind of thing. But I don't know, there's all sorts of tricky practices. But unless you guys have any more to talk about this.
About peeves of the internet.
Not really. I was gonna say the only time ads really bother me is just when when I accidentally click something I don't mean to because of the ad.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really mind. I don't use ad blocks or anything.
Me neither.
Yeah. I get why people don't like them, but to me, it's like if you don't like it, then you don't have to consume the content on that page. And to me, that's the trade-off. It's not that you get to just consume it and skip the ad. It means that you just don't get it.
Yeah.
But that's me.
I mean, with YouTube, you used to be able to put the ad where you wanted it to go in the video.
Right.
You could even put the ad at the end of your video if you wanted to, but now it's just a standard.
Right.
It always is going to show up at the start of the video.
I can imagine it's because advertisers didn't want the control to be with the creator. They'd rather it be with the platform.
It is actually worth pointing out too. YouTube bleeds money.
Oh yeah.
Like YouTube is not profitable for Google at all. They lose money every quarter off YouTube. Even which is why it's fine when everybody's like, oh, like why is there all this advertising? They just want to make money. It's like no, they're losing money. Like they make nothing off of it. But
and now the YouTube market's flooded, and everybody is trying to make money doing this.
Yeah, but I mean, like for hosting it, like for Google's end, like as much as the people making the content want to make money, but I mean, like Google themselves, if it's like is Google forcing all these ads on us, or is the content creators? Yeah, like the only people making money are content creators. Content creators even say that they don't make enough money, which is fair. Everybody wants more money, and arguably maybe everybody does deserve more money. But as of this point, there's nobody's going to pay for YouTube for the most part. There's the odd exception. And nobody wants advertisements on YouTube. So right now it's just kind of stuck of like, we don't know where to go from here.
Yeah, and now a lot of advertisers aren't picking up these big time YouTubers because a lot of these YouTubers might talk vulgar language, or they might mention something in their videos that it seemed inappropriate for the advertiser. So they've just been taking their advertisements off these videos.
Yeah.
And then Google is losing that advertising.
Yeah. So Tom, it's going to be interesting what the future of advertising on the internet's going to look like. 'Cause I don't know if the current model is going to stick. I don't know what an improvement is, but I don't know.
They'll work it out. Sure. I don't think YouTube is going away anytime soon.
Oh, no, not at all.
One more thing that I wanted to talk about. Nick has fans.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
congrats.
Okay, so recently I got a comment on my video, and I'm not going to go into any names, but
A live macaroon.
This guy posted this comment on this video saying that his little brother, like, first of all, he's saying like, hey, this is a great video. I really enjoyed it. By the way, I have a younger brother we just discovered has autism. And like, we only found this out a week ago. And he says you're like his favorite creator, and you know, watching your videos is what's keeping him strong, keeping him going. So keep up the good work.
Oh, that's very nice.
It just looking at that, and first thing that comes
Professor
to my
Adventure's
mind,
next video. I'm retiring.
I'm retiring. That's it. That's over. So yeah, I'm totally. What I ended up doing is I'm going to be giving this young man a shout out, or girl. I don't know which. Regardless, it's just a little bit of a turner for me. Just kind of like, okay, now I have a little bit more of a drive, just to get these videos out. So, yeah, that was really something really cool. And the first thing that popped in my mind was, is this fake? is this just kind of like one of those troll kind of things? Because normally I get comments when there's something wrong with it or off about it. It gets flagged, and then I can go in and choose to comment it. But this bypassed that flagging, which makes me believe that it's a legit real comment. So I commented on the video saying, thanks for watching. I'll give this young person a shout out. And he was like, I can't wait to see it in the next lesson. So that's what I was working on before we ended up starting this HastleCast. So just getting comments like that, it really makes you feel tingly inside.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, you're over 100 videos now, so.
Yes. Now, the funny thing with that is everybody was saying that, like, no, this isn't the 100th video. On our channel, it all says, like, you're only at, like, 97. You still got 3 to go. But on my YouTube page, like, in my video catalog, it showed 99 before I uploaded my 100th episode. So I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure this is 100. So I scrolled through every page and counted every single one. I was only at 98 when I uploaded 100.
That's awesome.
So I'm just
So
like,
are you at 100 yet?
I am over 100 now.
Okay. So it doesn't matter now.
It doesn't matter now.
That's funny. I wonder if you can publish videos and change the publish date on them. Probably not, but
I don't think so. I think it.
then you could like sneak a couple in there that were like, no, those were there the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, you can remove videos and upload new ones. I don't think you can change the date on a previous video
Yeah.
that you put up.
All right, Gravy Boat.
Yes. So yeah, I got covered this week. I'm gonna recommend this rap group I found semi recently.
Just real quick, Gravy Boat
Oh,
is
yeah.
a section of our show where we recommend a lesser known. Oh God, Nick drank the beer again.
I finished it.
Oh God, you're gonna die. Yeah, we recommend a artist and song that is probably a little bit lesser known, and then we make a playlist about all those songs on our YouTube channel that you can check out anytime you want for free. What do you got, Steven?
All right, so this was a hip hop duo from Australia.
Oh.
They are called Horror Show. I've not listened to much of their material, so I don't know what the rest of it's like. But this one I listened to is not. Doesn't even sound like a horror song, kind of, because there's a kind of subgenre of rap. Some people call it horrorcore. I more prefer the Memphis style name, Memphis rap. But they are not like that at all. But there's one song they did called "No Rides Left" that I thought was very nice. So, yeah, Horror Show, "No Rides Left."
All right, find that in our Gravy Boat playlist on our YouTube channel, along with all the other previous recommendations. And while you're on our YouTube channel, drop us a subscribe and share it with whoever you'd like. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, and don't forget to like our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, Snapchat, all these nice things, and check out iTunes and Google Play for all of our episodes that you can download and listen to whenever you'd like, and they're all free, so enjoy. And don't forget to check out Nick. Nick, what are all your...
YouTube.com/Professor Adventure. I do old educational video games. I do Let's Plays of them. And it's just a big nostalgic trip and a lot of fun. And hopefully you guys learn stuff along the way. I also wanted to mention on the music fact before too much farther that the content creator of video game music and Video Games Live, Tommy Tallarico, just announced a double disc vinyl for the Earthworm Jim soundtracks for games 1 and 2. It's just been announced for a pre-order for that, so I'm really excited for those.
Yeah, that's going to be really awesome. That's a great soundtrack. All right, thank you very
Sounds
much.
groovy.
Thank you very much, guys, for coming and chit-chatting.
Yeah, this was
Thank
a
you.
good old time.
We'll see y'all next week.
Let's do it.
Groovy.
The bottom of the beer tastes worse than the top.